Hello, I'm Stephen Ballast. In this video, I'm going to show you why the YoloBox Pro might be a good solution for your live streaming needs. Here on my channel, I mainly focus on technology for churches and what their needs are. So those are the features of the YoloBox Pro that I'm going to highlight. And the reason I mention that is because the YoloBox Pro can do a lot more than what I'm about to show you. These are just some of the highlights I think will be really useful for churches that are live streaming. So first of all, what is the YoloBox Pro? This box is an all-in-one switcher, monitor, encoder, and even a recorder. Any live streaming system is going to be made up of a few components. First, you'll have your sources. This could be a single camera or a multi-camera system switched through a video switcher. And that resulting output video gets sent to your encoder, where the video is compressed to be sent out over the internet. And that is sent to your destinations, which could be Facebook, YouTube, or any number of different live streaming services, free or paid. The YoloBox Pro at its heart is an encoder. It encodes your video to be sent out to your destinations. You may be familiar with software on your computer like OBS that can also be used as your encoder for live streaming. But there can be a lot of advantages to not using a computer for your encoding. The YoloBox does this in a dedicated device that doesn't require a computer to operate. Everything you need to live stream your video except for a camera is built into this device. But also using its built-in monitor and touch screen, you can switch between up to 3 HDMI camera inputs. So it's not just an encoder but a video switcher as well. The YoloBox Pro also has 2 audio inputs. One is a mic input, and the second is a line-level stereo input, which is perfect for bringing sound in from an audio mixer that will be outputting a line-level signal. I have a couple links to the cables you can use for that down in the description of this video, depending on what connections your audio mixer has for its outputs. The YoloBox Pro also has a USB-C input that will accept a webcam as a 4th camera. But even more significant is if you want or need more camera inputs, you can connect an Atem Mini's USB output. The Atem Mini outputs its program out, so that's the mixed video output, over its USB. So you can send the mixed video output from the Atem as an input to the YoloBox Pro over USB. This not only gives you capacity for more camera inputs, but also an incredible combination of features between these two devices. With as cheap as the Atem Mini switcher is now, it's really a no-brainer to use these two devices together. As an encoder, the YoloBox Pro can send your live stream to multiple destinations. I know a lot of churches like to send their stream to both Facebook and YouTube, and you can do that right from the YoloBox Pro. No other third-party services are needed. But if you are using a third-party service to embed your live stream on your website, you can also add a custom RTMP destination for that. I'm going to come back in a minute to this YoloCast option because I think it's a huge feature that you'll want to know more about. So I'll talk about that more in a minute. Something I know a lot of churches want to do with their video is send the video from their worship service to other parts of their building, whether that's a cry room for parents or an overflow room or even just the TV out in the hallways. The YoloBox Pro lets you output the finished switched video on its HDMI output. There are 2 options for the HDMI output, so to make this work, we go all the way down to the settings page, and this program out toggle option lets us choose to output either the display of the YoloBox Pro. That's exactly what you are seeing now with all the camera inputs and buttons. You could send that to a bigger monitor, but if I toggle this program out on, then we'll see the resulting switched program video from the YoloBox Pro. So not only do you get your live stream out through the internet connection, but you can also send your video out to be distributed locally. Just send that HDMI output to a distribution system, and you can send it around your building. Another thing I know a lot of churches want to do is record their services. And whether that's just for archival purposes or to edit down later to be able to post just the sermon, the YoloBox Pro lets you record to an SD card. Just tap the record button at the top of the screen and touch start recording, and you're now sending your video output to a file that's being recorded on the SD card. and you can record video even if you're streaming or not. Finally, this is a big one, and I think one of the reasons a church should consider the YoloBox Pro over the other models, the YoloBox or the YoloBox Mini, is its ability to overlay your lyrics directly from your worship presentation software over your video. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this method will work with just about any worship presentation software that's out there. I'll quickly show you how you can do it with Easy Worship. The YoloBox Pro uses chroma keying to overlay one input over another. So in order to overlay your lyrics, all we need is a second display output from our software that we can format differently from our main projection display. In Easy Worship, they call this an alternate output. So if we go to Edit and Options and go to the alternate output page, we can enable that output. Then select the physical output from your computer that you're going to be using. So you'll need a graphics card in your computer that can support multiple display outputs. One for your control monitor, one for your main projection output, and one for your alternate output. I'm going to connect an HDMI cable from my graphics card to an input of my YoloBox Pro. I'll use HDMI 3. And then select that physical output for the alternate output in this dropdown. Next, I've already created a theme with a green background and the lyrics formatted at the bottom for the lower thirds. And if I right-click on that, I can select it as the default theme for my alternate output. Now if I go over to my YoloBox Pro, I can see my song lyrics coming in with that green background. Touch this little settings icon in the top right of the HDMI 3 input and turn on the keying switch. And right away I have my lyrics with a transparent background. Now to overlay that over my camera input, touch Add Video Source, then Picture-in-Picture Video, and first you'll select the video, so I'll use HDMI 1 and select Next. Now for subscreen, select HDMI 3 where I have my lyrics and touch Next. Now I want to remove the border and scale it all the way up and touch Done. And now in my sources here, if I select HDMI 1, I have the clean camera feed without the overlay. And if I select the picture-in-picture video, it overlays my lyrics. And as I operate Easy Worship, those lyrics will update on my video just like they do on my main projection screens. That example used Easy Worship, but you can do the exact same thing in any of the popular worship presentation programs. You just need a physical output from your computer that you can format differently than your main output. The final thing that makes the YoloBox Pro attractive to churches, I think, is the YoloCast platform. Now, full disclosure, you need to know that YoloLive, the company that makes the YoloBox, paid me money to make a video on their YouTube channel about their new YoloCast platform. I made a really in-depth 30-minute walkthrough of the entire platform. But one of the side effects of doing that video was that I had to learn all about the YoloCast platform in order to make the video. And I have to say I was really impressed with it. I don't have time here to describe all of what YoloCast is, but the main idea is that you send your video from the YoloBox Pro to the YoloCast platform. And then YoloCast sends that video to your destinations, Facebook, YouTube, and also to an embedded player on your website if you want. Now, that's pretty standard stuff. Many third-party platforms already do that. But what I thought YoloCast does well is it gives you the ability to use your video content in different ways after you stream. You can post highlight clips directly to social media from YoloCast without having to do any editing on your computer. Just select a portion of your live stream and post that as a video clip to social media. That's just one of the cool things that it can do, but I think you can see some of the potential. You'll probably hear more about YoloCast here on my channel because I'm really tempted to move our streaming over to it. Right now, if you're watching this video before Thanksgiving, YoloLive has the YoloBox Pro on sale for Black Friday at a price cheaper than it's ever been. And they also have their YoloCast service on sale for 50% off. So both of those are a great deal. Be sure and check it out. I've got links down in the description of this video. Until next time.